Welcome back to another episode of Find the Line, presented by Against the Grain Design and Print, where we dive into real stories with real racers, the successes, the hardships, and everything in between, with your co-hosts Logan Cipala and Joe Falde. Produced by Luke Cipala, it all starts right here, right now, on Find the Line.
Yeah, and we can do anything. Mama said it's true, and I put that on everything. Mama told me one day I'ma blow up big and I'ma be a king. And my papa told me it's okay to sit where shit hurts. Don't forget your dreams, cause they'll get you through this so-called life they call living, but I call it strange, and I bet I'll do it, cause I'm on my way.
All right, my motorcycle maniacs, this is Find the Line, and this week, no side quest chit chat. We're going main quest recap all night. We're recapping rounds 1, rounds 2, White Rose, American Hillclimb East, and round 2, Freemansburg, American Hillclimb East, both in Pennsylvania. Also, after the break, get ready. We are also recapping round 2 of Rockwell at the BMC, the Big Sky Challenge. I got new fire and flame behind me. I'm so pumped to talk all about all these. But just tonight, it's the originals. It's the 914. It's the 895 and the old chubby 31. How's she going, Matt?
Another day in paradise, right?
Another day in paradise is right. Dang. For those that are watching us online, you're probably asking yourself, Logan looks like he's a little stiff. Well, he is. He's a little stiff right now. Yeah, he's gonna be only podcast for a little while here. He's got some new hardware, not the cool kind either.
I'm unfortunately sporting some of the not cool add-ons for a little while here.
Right. I was gonna try to pull mine out. Look at here, 2019. I got this at your house. Yeah. I mean, I could put it on and just see if I can match your intensity with. No. I would have injured it if I would have went with it. I don't think it would have worked.
I know I won't be putting this thing on just for shits and giggles again. So it looks better on the wall.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it on the wall. That's a reminder that the cost of some of these things is more than others. I might have to just leave this on.
You're stuck now.
I'm stuck now. I'm stuck. So we got 3 weeks of racing to go over.
I can't take you serious knowing that you're stuck.
I'm kind of comfortable now. I feel I just chewed off all my. Here we go. Got it. All right, we're back. The monkey's out of the cage.
We need one of those for Luke so his head doesn't nod when he's falling asleep.
Well, that happens. Yeah, he's heavily caffeinated tonight, though. We're good.
I don't got a neck built like a stack of pennies, so I don't need one of those.
Not yet.
That's the best, Luke. Yes, a neck like a stack of dimes. That's old. That was Stone Cold Steve Austin line right there, Luke. That was great.
In one of my group chats with a few of my friends from high school, his stepdad used to always say that to me. And then he likes to go on and make these video skits of me making fun of my neck like stack of dimes. And today, my buddy Damon took a video of me walking through the factory with my neck brace on and sent it to him, of course. So I'm like, yeah, we can't hide it. It's not just a rumor anymore. It's been proven.
It's been proven.
I do have a neck like stack of dimes.
Yeah. You don't have to share any details, but boy, so glad. Thank you. This is so important. A lesson to so many riders. You had to get off. We're going to talk about it later in Freemansburg. Yep. But just as a friend, thank you for going to the doctor when you didn't feel 100%. You didn't realize you were injured. But if you would have went out there and took another lick, we might never get to talk again. Thank you for going to the doctor.
Yeah, it's bit of an eye-opener, but we can cover that later on.
All right, cool. Well, I'm just glad. Thanks for being the big man and going. Mm-hmm. But let's back up here. So White Rose, we're 10 days from it, something like that. Mm-hmm. When you had your round 1, big news, new bottom. They changed that bottom. I got to watch. I thought they did pretty good coverage on what is it called? The
Fans' Choice.
Fans' Choice. Thank you. I thought they did a pretty darn good job on Fans' Choice. I had a couple camera views. It looked kind of gnarly, and never been so proud of you. 450s come out. Everybody's struggling. The old machine. What does the machine do?
Just got to go for it.
Go for it. Yeah, buddy. You made it look, and you just wrote the book for everybody else. Were you wishing that you had that ultra late draw that day?
Yeah, it would have been nice because it's like it freaking sucks. Just showing everybody exactly what to do and how to do it and making the line. It was like, you go and do that and then watch every single person do exactly what I just did, but perfect it. So it was a bummer to draw that early. And then I was early enough that only a couple people had tried it. I was kind of going back and forth on what I wanted to do because one or two people rode before me and made it look half decent doing that. And I'm like, God, I just don't know what. And then I watched, I think Ryan did it on Jay's bike and didn't have a great hole shot or come out of the hole real hard and made it like most of the way there. I'm like, man, as long as if I can just boner air this and at least get my front tire over it, it's going to be way faster.
Right.
So I just made a plan in my head. I'm like, if I come out of the hole and don't bog and just stay pulling, I'm just going to lay into it the rest of the way and see if we can stretch it out. And that first one wasn't pretty, but it was good enough to let me ride last and got to watch a couple of people improve what I was doing and then knew exactly what to do. And it was just a matter of getting that bottom double clean and then hitting a good spot up top and put one together on the 450 right out of the bat for the year, which was pretty sweet.
That's cool. And at that bottom, there's not a lot of time. I mean, it is not a long hole shot. It's pretty abrupt. Like it's, you were on it. Like, I mean, it is so quick to make those adjustments that quick. I mean, you had to be perfect on that 450 coming out.
Yeah, it was like 100% focus on just doing the best, most perfect, hardest hole shot that you could.
Right.
And then just, like I said, trying to figure out the jump was extremely, extremely technical because they didn't grade it with a dozer or a skid steer or anything. It was all made with an excavator. So it was pretty notchy through the middle. So you'd compress and then unload. And right as you're unloading, you start hitting like chop going up to the lips. You never really knew how you were going to come off of it. It was super technical, but
scary.
It was a welcome relief or a welcome sight, I guess we should say, rolling into the parking lot on Saturday and seeing the bulldozers and excavators and everybody got all those guys hard at work making some hill changes. Like it's super cool to see a club putting in a little bit of effort to try something different, do something new for the crowd and get all the racers excited as well.
That's cool. What did you think of the change? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Or what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it was great. It made the hill a lot more rideable. Like it always used to have that crest in the halfway up that unloaded your suspension and got you all bent out of shape. And the bottom breaker was always so rough and goofy. And it kind of smoothed all that out and brought in a different type of technicality into it. And it was a blast. Obviously, I did pretty well, so I'm biased, but I still think it was really fun. The last jump was super, super gnarly. And I think it was just kind of how the jump was built and shaped the day before. It was big. Yeah, I didn't walking the hill. It didn't look that big, but when we hit the first time I hit it on my 450, it was like, holy crap, this thing is large.
Yeah, and like it seemed like the 450s, you didn't quite have the speed to throw you, so you kind of dropped. But then like the bigger bikes, you had the speed to carry you through to the top. But man, some of the 450 guys that weren't going ultra fast looked like they just fell out of the sky.
yeah, that's how it felt. I mean, even with my rides that were pretty good, I felt like I fell out of the sky. It was just a long freaking ways.
When you've got a big belly like me, that's not a good feeling. You know that's going to hurt when you just all of a sudden stop going forward and start going down. Not a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I was not prepared for it on the 450 that first time around, and obviously when I rode, I was one of the first guys to really go for it that big. So it was a little big one.
Cool. How was the crowd? Looked pretty darn good. Was it a decent crowd there at White Rose?
Yeah. It was a big crowd. A lot of bikes, a lot of people, and seemed like all the spectators were enjoying the hill change. It definitely did not make the race any more boring than what it has been in the past. And I don't think it was a negative impact on the crowd at all, which is always a big scare with doing something new out east. You know, you don't want to make the hill boring when it's too technical.
Right. I heard Tim announcing he did a great job. Miss Jamie. I mean, there's only one Jamie Deere and Bummer, but Tim did a great job. They had that coming through Fans Choice. Looked like he had the crowd into it. I didn't hear a ton of like, you know, that night crowd where it was a ton of, I didn't hear a whole lot of crowd. What was it like in person? Were they into it or? Yeah,
I think they were. There just wasn't a whole lot of parity, I guess, in the racing. There was just a couple of guys going faster here or there. And it wasn't a whole lot of like lead changes, you know, so that always changes it a little bit. You know, if you have good racing, the crowd gets more and more into it, the deeper you go. So a little bit of that was probably part of the reason, but it seemed like the crowd was into it and pretty normal from what I've experienced there.
Nice. One thing and it's been a minute, but like I loved the last time I was there, they had pit row. Everybody's tents were lined up. They were starting to get it. Have they improved on that? Went backwards? How's that going?
It was definitely backwards by far this time, but some of that was, it was super muddy and people were pulling in probably before they should have. So they were getting stuck. And it was a little bit of a mess there on Saturday. They had so much rain. They were saying it was like almost double digits worth of in the inches of rain. Like,
wow,
10 plus inches
Holy crap.
I think that week or before that. So it was just a mess in general, which was kind of a bummer.
All right.
But yeah, definitely that part we're lacking on. And like we said, just that organized parking and pit setups is what we got to try to push for to make it look better and better.
And it looks so cool. Like when you walk over to get a fish sandwich or whatever, and you're coming back and you just see that pit row just lined up down that driveway. Yeah. And it's just tent, and just awesome one-off custom race bikes on both sides of it. That gets that fan experience. That's very important. Like people, that builds into the character of the event. And White Rose, it's one of the most beautiful venues we go to. The club members there keep it looking like a Swiss church. It's so beautifully mowed. Everything goes up. They have just the best grounds. I feel like as riders, it's up to us to make that pit row up to the standards that that club puts out there. So let's do a little better next time.
Yep. Definitely need to do better in that department.
So trailer doors come down, first race of the year for American Hillclimb East. I saw some new bikes that came out for their debut. I saw two Mueller 1190s, one Steve Kane, one Bodie O'Neill. Thoughts on those?
They're fast.
You buying a KTM yet?
Might have to. I'm in the unfortunate.
You can't Buell people on a KTM, Tom. Come on.
No, not yet.
Okay.
No, can't give up on the Buells yet. But you know that my bike's been run on the dyno there and is the benchmark. So Kirk knows what to shoot for to make something competitive. So he definitely did that or bested it, and we'll have to try to keep getting better too to hang on to it.
That's cool. They sounded really good. Just from watching, I think they might be a little different than the one that I have because I could tell they were running a different gear than I ran out there. So I was like, they must have figured something else out on the new one. So yet again, another version. So pretty cool. Also, go ahead.
No.
Also saw Devin had a new 1190. Is that a KTM or was that a Aprilia or what was that?
Yeah, I haven't even looked at his much. I think it's a KTM from what I heard, and I believe Dirty Dan built it.
Sweet.
Pennsylvania guy.
Okay.
I don't know hardly anything about it. So
how many years are we into that twins class? Do you know offhand?
This is the sixth season because we started in 2020.
Okay. I just think it's cool, dude. Well, there was like 20 twins bikes there. I mean,
yeah, it's like I think all three classes were within one or two entries of each other. So
that's great.
Obviously it's growing.
That's awesome. And that class was there to show a difference, and having that tire, having that twin power. Yep. It's not nitro bikes. They're not just the extreme and the unlimited bikes. They are definitely different. I mean, you're, basically the only one running kind of similar bikes, but having that fender and that nitrous makes it different too. But I was loving seeing that there was some more twins. I thought that was pretty epic. Yeah.
It's nice to see that. I kind of didn't even pay attention, but yeah, now that you say it, when we're getting, I think the Premier and 450 was like 18, 19 or 17, 18 in it. And the twins class must have been 12 to 15. So we're not much lower between the two.
Let's not forget that class was meant to get manufacturer involvement. Logan, who are you sponsored by?
Buell Motorcycles.
What does Buell Motorcycles make? They make frickin' Gixxer 4-cylinders?
Oh, they make V-twins.
They make the most badass twin ever built and put on God's green earth, right? So hell yeah for that class, getting that involvement from Buell and just being a badass class. It's working and it's building. That's pretty cool.
Yep. Yeah, it's all good.
And now we're talking to culture. Where are my two-stroke fans at? Rat Racing was there with that. Are we calling it a super single? What do we call that thing?
I don't know what the hell.
Frankenstein's one-lunger? I don't know.
Maybe. You got to find the right name to give it the respect it deserves because it is a work of art.
That is a
cool bike.
That is one cool ass bike, and I was so excited to see Ryan get out there. It looked like maybe he was still working on some setup, or there might have been some little kinks he was working out.
Yeah, he's still working the kinks out of it, but he's well aware going into it that he probably had a little bit of work to figure out yet. He's doing something that basically nobody on Earth can help him try to figure out. Electron basically put their arms in the air and said, we don't know how to help you. Some other 500 two-stroke guys that claimed they knew what to do decided they couldn't really help him or didn't want to help him or just straight up weren't smart enough to help him. Who knows what the answer is there. He's got a pipe that I'm pretty sure you could kick a soccer ball through. It is so big.
The only other person I can think of, and I always say his name wrong, but it's the guy that built Fowler's bike, the nicest guy, Jack, is it Fannin?
Oh, Fannin.
Yeah. And he built that monster too. And that thing ran good. Maybe Ryan and Jack need to have a couple FaceTime calls or whatever.
Yeah, he might be a guy. But the issue that Ryan has is he's running on alcohol. So the amount of fuel that he has to put through there is significantly more than just a regular gas build, which I don't think most people have done.
Right.
So that's kind of what he's fighting, just trying to get that much air and that much fuel into the bike. But when the thing is on, it looks fast, especially for single cylinder two-stroke. It's really cool. I'm excited to see him get that a little more dialed in and get it working right.
We're all cheering for you at racing, and man, hats off. I love the sport that in that class we got so many different people representing different bikes, different fuels, everything. I just think it's so cool, and this is just another one that's so damn cool. Please figure it out. Don't give up. Keep going. We're all cheering for you, dude. Yeah. And then also the frickin' Billy Goat on his own nitro bike. I was so happy to see that. Braden worked so hard and so cool. Got his own bike. What did you get to see any of Braden's runs on the nitro?
I was actually watching his second run, and he had a great run on the second run with that nitro bike, which was cool to see. And he came down the return trail and was thrilled. He ended up
sick.
I think he ended up getting 8th, it looks like, which doesn't seem right. I thought he was up a little bit further than that, but it was a really solid run, and he was happy about it, which was cool to see. And he's right there, I guess, with the other guys, just maybe a couple tenths off of getting up there a little bit further. So can't come.
Just being old and not being able to do as much, and just watching people through Instagram and on internet, and it's so neat. Like Billy Goat posting his build online, just like with Rat Racing. And it's so fun. Keep doing that, guys. It's fun to cheer along, and you just pick up so many fans in the process. I was cheering for Braden and Ryan, and it's so neat just watching guys build their own equipment, ride it, perfect it, and hopefully win it. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. And just from my opinion, because that's kind of what we've done too. It's like, you just respect it so much more when someone's out there grinding, trying to figure out how to build their own shit and make it work, and then going and racing it too, and not just hopping on something that's finished and proven and doing well. There's a whole nother level of dedication and talent and homework and time that goes into it compared to doing it the other way around. So you have to respect anything like that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. On a backwards note, man, just not the same. No freaking Phil. Man, I'll never get used to it. I'll never, ever, ever get used to not having Phil at an American Hillclimb East race. Miss you, buddy. And same thing, it was hard. A couple guys that I missed seeing. Jay, my bud Jay wasn't out there ripping that freaking R1 on nitro. And then also, no turbo bike. Come on, Fowlers, where were you, bud? I was looking for the turbo bike to freaking break fans' choice, and then no turbo bike. So hoping that the Fowlers can get to some rounds this year. Miss seeing them. And man, they got such unique builds as well. And it's just bummer to see your buds not there racing, but I get it. Life's busy. So, but Jay and Phil, that one hurt for sure. So, the hill itself at White Rose, I was just going to say, I know this is kind of against maybe what you want, but that bottom kind of played into your hand, maybe machine, that you had a little more technical ability, obviously winning the premier class on the Buell. But do you think that not having the nitro bikes winning hurts the whole crowd and the aura of White Rose?
I don't know. Do you think that maybe the Buell is just fast as fuck and milk the nitro bikes?
Okay. I don't know.
Let's go through here on the results, because it was 7.3 for the Buell, 7.6 for John, 7.7 for Jake, 7.8 for Corbin, 7.8 for Caleb, 8.0 for Bodie, 8.2 for Josh, 8.4 for Braden, 8.4 for Andrew Fortner, and then Kirk was there with a 10.0 and 10th.
Wow.
So it was a lot of nitro bikes that were all really tight. So
yeah. Okay. All right. I just get nervous because that culture out there, those crowds, they love those nitro bikes. You know,
they do love the nitro bikes, and it's good to see them hauling the mail. But there was definitely still some tight racing, and at least I've got a little bit of funny fuel in mind too. We're not just running spare straight engine. But
right. Yeah. You got some spray in there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's close.
No, it's,
I think that's
ride a nitro bike. I still like seeing them do well and go fast, because that is the lifeblood of the sport for sure.
Well, I think it's kind of like Luke's got a nitrous mustache and you got a nitro beard. I'd say that's what's kind of got going on here. Right? Sorry, Luke.
Just I don't know if it's a compliment or an insult yet, but
no, it's just the amazing. I mean, on any hill, because we saw it last year. You were injured. We were watching from afar, but like at Michigan, super technical hill, and those freaking nitro bikes are still doing it. I mean, now the level of talent in that class, we saw it at Devil's Staircase. They were able to ride those nitro bikes on hills that you really shouldn't be able to. These guys are really riding these bikes, doing things that they were not intended to do. Those long East Coast nitro bikes are not meant to jump like that, are they?
No, not like what you see at Devil's Staircase and stuff. And even trying to time that breaker on the bottom was definitely a bigger challenge for them. But some of it was easier because you've got all the power to make the jump. It's just trying to make sure you don't over jump it or under jump it. So just trying to time that, which I give them a ton of credit for, because trying to time something technical on a nitro bike like that is not easy by any means. So the guys that were putting rides down were doing it good and hitting it, but that a lot of it, why people weren't going faster, was just that top jump was so intimidating, and it took a couple people down, crashing pretty bad, just because the ruts were so deep and it was getting cupped out really bad. So shooting you straight up in the air and landing hard, otherwise people were backing out. And I rode late enough in that class that I was able to spot a new line that nobody else had taken. And just like I said before, I told my dad, I was like, I'm just going to try to thread the needle here. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, and we'll just see what happens, because there's nothing else left. And I wasn't willing to just shoot it up through the center through one of those deep ruts that I didn't know what it looked like. So there's a little bit of technicality in that second jump that was making it harder for guys to do. It was just like the left side of the jump was good, but the left side of the main hill part really sucked, and the right side of the hill or the jump was good up top, but just hard to get over there.
It looked like some massive ruts on that top jump at the top.
Yeah.
They looked so deep.
Yeah.
And
it was crazy.
Kind of like at Washington, like when there's so much loose pushed over, they get so unpredictable, those deep ruts like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, congratulations to Bodie. One and done in the twins class on a brand new bike. I don't know how they do that. They did that with the 990. It took me like 2 years to figure out what sprocket to run. That's impressive. To just show up, put it one lick on it, and win the class. Congratulations. That is very impressive. I'm sure he's very, very thrilled with that build. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So overall success. Did you have a fish sandwich?
No, I don't eat fish.
Oh, that's
no
right.
way.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you're not a fish guy. Dang it.
No,
did they sell out? Did you hear? Did they sell out?
I don't know. Rob told me how many pounds of fish they sold, but I don't remember what the number was at this point. So,
did you remember hearing the 50-50 pot?
No, I don't remember that either. But
did
it was pretty good.
What use are you? Did they give a bike away?
There was a bike up there, but I don't know the details of any of the giveaway stuff.
Yeah, whatever. We got to talk about this.
I was zoned in on the
beforehand.
important stuff. I know it's not entertaining, but
let's move on to Freemansburg. I totally screwed that up. Bad questions on my part. All right.
I think that covers it all for White Rose. All the excitement, at least.
All right. Cool. There wasn't any
Pretty sweet
snakes
day.
fighting in the pits or anything like that, was there?
No,
Like,
we didn't see any of that this
thank
year.
God.
No,
Oh, those
no.
damn black snakes terrify me. Those things are meaner than hell. So thanks to the White Rose. Thanks to the Jefferson Motorcycle Club. Everything that goes on to that. Just love that event. Can't wait for it's the actual night race this year, right now in the fall.
I think so. Yep.
Good. It better be. That's one of the best races in the whole country. That night race.
Yeah, I believe it is.
All right, cool. All right, let's move on to round 2, Freemansburg, Pennsylvania. And you, because you got problems. Can we tell what the hell you did? So you race at White Rose, and then normally you leave your stuff, fly home and work, and then fly back. But what did you do this year?
Yeah, I was able to go to our sister company in Connecticut. So just a 5-hour drive up there from York, and spent the week up there working at their plant. And then Todd Pincinel from US Hillclimbing and I got to go and ride at MX23 on Thursday up in Massachusetts. So that was sweet. It was felt like a vacation all week, which was pretty fun. Just a little bit tough being away from home for that long, but man, it was so fun to be able to just not travel so far, go get some work done, and then spend a Thursday night riding dirt bike on a sweet track.
It looked really nice. And Todd's
so
the best.
fun.
That dude is so freaking awesome. Thanks, Todd, for showing you his home track. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super fun. Great way to end off the week. And then from there, we just spent a little bit. I spent Friday night, and then we spent Friday night and just Friday night, and then most of Friday up in Connecticut, and then drove down to Freemansburg on Saturday morning.
Okay. Did Morgan fly out for the second weekend?
Yeah, her and my dad flew to Connecticut, and then I just picked them up, and then we hung out from there.
Was it like Hartford, or where are they flying to in Connecticut?
Hartford, yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Nice.
$70.
70?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yep.
I fly out there and it's $600. Your dad flies, it's almost free. It's pretty soon they're just going to start mailing him the money for it to fly out there. What a deal. If you didn't have to drive train every day, you could be a logistics manager. I just don't know how you figure half this shit out.
Yeah, it's what my true calling probably should be, or was.
It is. That is exactly your true calling. So you get down to Freemansburg. What were the conditions like there at Freemansburg? Was it wet, dry? Like what kind of deals were you dealing with there?
Traction was pretty much perfect. It wasn't too muddy, and it definitely was not dusty.
Okay.
The hill had not literally I'm not even joking, literally not been touched from the last hill climb other than putting the rain trenches in it. The whole shot area still had every rut that it did from last September.
No.
The jumps had every rut in them from last September.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was a little
cool.
bit disappointing to see that.
Dang it. Oh man, that's a bummer. I mean, at least get a skiddy down there for an hour and groom that bottom a little bit. I mean, dang it. That's kind of
I know Jay used to always be a big proponent of it when he was still doing this, but just doing that up to that first big jump, getting that all graded so it looks nice and is smoothed out, especially when it's so rocky and there's so many holes down there now.
Right.
Like that's a pretty minimal amount of work in order to make it pretty good.
Right.
Pretty big difference in the hill. And then in my opinion, and I feel confident saying this because I have promoted, there's just no excuse to not at least fill in the ruts on the starting gate.
Yeah, that's
from
a bummer.
The event before.
Yeah, I mean, Bushkill Valley, they're a great club. I mean, I wonder if it's a communication thing or if they're having manpower issues, but it's we all want the same thing. We all want to put the very best event on we can. And they have the potential there just to fill that place up, and it's like when that place is filled up, everybody wins, right? But it's like we got to have good conditions and good racing to get that.
Yeah, I mean, part of putting on a professional and a great event is the hill prep and the hill, whatever course, whether it's a track, trails, hill, the prep into that to make a good event, make it look good when the people get there, do what you have to do to make the racing good. And it's just that I don't feel that was done, but I don't want to just kick rocks at the club. They do a great job at promoting the event and all that, but we're talking a few hours of dirt work to,
Right.
take it up even another level from what it was.
Yeah, bummer. I mean, there's got to be an equipment rental place there that for not much money would just dump a skid steer off there for a day or two for not a ton of money. I mean, it's like I don't think they're that much different in Pennsylvania. Is that pretty much half the people in our club can run a skid steer? Maybe not awesome, but enough to get the job done, right? But bummer. Bummed to hear that. Was there people waiting at the gate to get in though?
There was a line, yeah. They were already tailgating, drinking beer, and partying at 9 a.m. when I got there. So that's always great to see for sure.
Cool.
The forecast, I think, probably turned a few people away because there was a chance of rain in the afternoon. So there were a lot of bikes there and still a lot of people there, and the field was pretty full. Okay. But not as much as what we've seen in the past. And I think it was just that chance of rain in the early afternoon that probably kept some people away. And then when the sun was out, it was smoking hot.
Wow. Yeah. It's
and like just sticky and humid. So
I don't think it ever gets wind there. It's never windy there. It's always like a hole down in there. No, I had to ask if it was wet because that's where I had to 4x, and I still got freaking mud on Big Black from that day when I had the old truck with the diggers on there, and I had to get down on it. I still picking mud off the freaking trailer.
Yeah. No, none of that. I got in and out with my van, no problems. So that was good too.
All right, good. What talking parking there? Same thing. They still got that fence, so you got to park below it. You can't push up through there.
Yeah, it's just
nothing's changed.
No. Exact same.
Some bikes on the right side of the hill, some bikes on the left side of the hill, some divided by a fence.
Yep. Yeah,
that's
that's another place. Just when there's only a few trailers there, man, it would be great to see some organized parking and getting it all looking really good. Because if you did it right at a place like that, you could really make it look nice. So
that
hopefully
and
in the future.
When I've parked down there, I've had so much fan interaction, like when I've been up there, they got a freaking food truck in front of us and there's people running around behind to talk to us and look at the bikes and everything. It's like, let's give them what they want. Like, let's get that parking figured out so they can geek on some cool shit. It's like, that's
a good point. I think having a professional looking pit set up like that just drives more fan interaction too, because when you have, clean, organized aisles with big tents out there and all the bikes, people know where they should go and where they shouldn't go. Because there's some people that just don't want to feel like they're walking through your area or snooping around or whatever. And it's like, if you got these big aisles with tents lined up, everyone knows exactly where they should be and where the riders are and what to look for. And don't feel like they're walking through someone else's area that they shouldn't be in.
Right.
And it's just, I think that promotes some of that and it makes it look more professional. It's something that just needs to be done, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I got to watch a little bit. I was out in Montana when you guys were going. I flipped on Fans Choice in between classes. And right away, I got to see some of the 450s. And holy shit, were the 450s going fast. I think my fastest time ever on that hill on an open bike is like an 11.4, and you guys were low 11s on the 450. Was that the fastest that you ever went on a 450 there?
I don't remember. It was probably one of the fastest, just because there were a few developed lines that were in the hill like that. I can't remember if I'd gone faster in the past on it or not.
Okay,
but the hill's just changed so much over the years, and had so many different versions of it, but. It felt pretty fast just because there wasn't a ton of grass. And then, like I said, those lines and the main ruts were in there from last year. So as long as you could hit those, it was pretty good.
Right.
I thought I laid down a pretty much perfect ride, but I was worked over pretty good. And I don't know what I could have done to go a whole lot faster. So I got to try to figure that out for the future, maybe.
Wow. No, I was sitting with Aaron Pearson and Ryan Wyatt, and we were just in between, and I had it on, and I was watching, and I was like, man, it's just crazy how much that hill's changed, because I was telling Ryan, I was like, the very first time I went out there, I don't know years, but you and I were the only two 450s to make it over the hill the first round. And I was like, here, they're going frickin' 11 seconds. I was like, I can't believe, because it wasn't that long ago. It was my first time out there, maybe 6-8 years ago, something like that. It's like for that hill to change that much, that's just incredible.
Yeah, it's so weird how it works like that sometimes. Just you never really know. And it might be really fast or it might be really technical, and it's just crazy. Yeah, like here, so if we go into 2021 in the June race, Jay won it with a 12.8, and I got second with a 13.0. So a lot slower.
A lot slower. Big difference.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like the very first time we went there, I think they had just reworked the jumps, and like you literally couldn't ride that top jump. If you didn't jump it, you didn't get through it because of the angle. Like it was just it was plain out impossible to ride it. And then the middle jump was like you were jumping school buses in that middle jump. It was so freaking big. I'd never been so scared in my life, and it's just the biggest jump I've ever hit in my life. It was crazy.
Yep, for sure.
450 class went through pretty good. You guys went right from 450 to Verticross or X-Climb?
Yeah, that's what they've been doing at the last two now. It's actually kind of nice. I like that a little bit more. It's start off with for 450 back to back and go right into Verticross. So it keeps the hill fresh for the 450s, because sometimes when you do all those runs, the hill just gets beat and then you got no chance on the second round of the 450s. So yeah, I like that a little bit more, just keeping the hill fair so you do have two competitive or similar runs. Yeah, I know there's a little bit of back and forth online about it that I saw, but it's the theory behind it makes sense. I don't know if maybe it makes more sense to put the 450 class at the very end or what exactly we should do, but hard to say. I don't know if there's ever a perfect answer.
I like that. I like it back to back right away. I remember they've done that before where they've had the 450 class at the end. And what I didn't like about it is when people are leaving, they're remembering that. When someone leaves, I want them to leave right after, Caleb Blaine just about beat Ryan Rasa at White Rose over the top, and everybody's booing and they're just losing their mind because they just saw something incredible. That's what I want at the end. And the 450 class is just not exciting.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's why I like getting that started right off the bat and just running it. I almost think that I could start at 11:30. So when people are coming there at noon, they're catching the tail end of that, or maybe start Verticross right at noon. Right. And then they're seeing Verticross, which is good action, and then moving right into the big boys.
Yeah. We got to talk about the Verticross. Obviously, the reason that you got that hardware on your neck right now, you got freaking crossed up. Yeah, a little racing incident. When I was watching it, just two fast dudes going for it. You got a different opinion about it?
No, it's just I said it from the second it happened. It was a moment where you could make two choices: let off and give the win away, or hang on to it and try, or hold on to it and try to make go for the win and take a little bit of a risk. And I made the wrong choice at the time, and unfortunately it came back and bit me pretty good, and just made contact with something on Bodie's bike or his body or something, and it threw me off balance and threw him off balance. And unfortunately I took the worst end of the deal on that, and my bike just lawn darted me, stopped dead when I hit the hill, and lawn darted me into the hill. And got up. Well, I didn't get up, but got my bearings straightened out a little bit after that, and vision was a little bit fuzzy and felt a little slow. My arm was kind of tingling and had like a little bit of a sore neck, and just took a few minutes got off the hill, and then took a little bit to start feeling a little bit back to normal. But I was kind of stiff and sore the rest of the day, and just felt a little bit off. Like I don't think I had a concussion or anything, but I was probably really damn close to it, which is why I had some of the vision stuff, and then just didn't feel as quick as I should have or as what I do normally. So unfortunately, bad part of the deal. But it's like I told Rob and anybody else that asked me about it, I said, I don't freaking come here to get second place. So I held on to it when I probably shouldn't have. And it bit me that time.
Yeah, no, I just so bummed that it happened. You want to see anybody go down. And then, thank you for, going to the doctor on Monday and finding out that you weren't quite right and taking those precautions. I come from the school where, if you can get up, you don't go in. And it's like, you can't be like that. You got to go get checked out. You don't want to find out by taking another lick that there was a pre-existing condition. And I'm just so damn proud of you for just going in and getting everything figured out and just being responsible, because you're a young man with lots of racing ahead of you, and you don't want to miss out on that, right?
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure what we've got going on in the future now, but yeah, it was definitely crazy with just the whole whirlwind of everything going on. Like, I got up and obviously rode 2 more times the rest of the day, and I was not feeling right. And I'm like, you know what, I put a good enough ride down in the premier class and was happy with it. And like twins, I'm like, I wanted to ride again in the worst way, but I just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And didn't want to risk it. And I was sitting, not obviously where I wanted to be, but I'm like, hey, I got a few points and maybe I would be able to hold on to it a little bit later on. But anyways, ended up driving home, loaded up the van, loaded all my bikes in, did all this stuff and screwed around, went to work the next day. And then I was just like kind of feeling some weird, my arm just still didn't quite feel right, which had me a little bit more nervous compared to if it was just like a normal sore neck or something. So I go into the hospital, they take x-rays, and they're like, oh, there's no visible x-rays, but the symptoms with your arm and the tingling have us a little bit worried. So you can either wear the neck brace for a week, don't take it off, and then come back in and see if anything's any different, or we can get a CT scan, and then they'll be able to tell for sure if you have anything going on. I'm like, well, I think the CT, the doctor recommended doing the CT, so I did that. Then they did the CT scan, and there was a fracture. So all of a sudden, hospital's in like neck fracture protocol, and they're like, you're on bed rest, you might not be going home tonight, you aren't getting up, we got to get you to an MRI, put an IV in you, strip me butt ass naked, put the gown on. I'm like, holy shit, this is getting really, really scary. Right. And I didn't know what to think or what was going to happen that night or any of that. So I was like, oh my God, Morgan was done with work. I told her to go home because I didn't think it was going to be serious. And then I was like, oh my God, all of a sudden I don't know what's going on.
Right.
And then they do an MRI, send that and the CT scan to the neurosurgeons at Regions. And they're like, well, since he already did all the stress testing on it, walking around and doing all that stuff, and it didn't move, we feel that it's stable and doesn't need surgery, so you can go home. So like, after all that hoopla, it's just like a roller coaster of emotions. You think you're good, then you're terrified, and then you're good. And then it's like, do I trust that I'm actually good, or what do you think here? And it's obviously extremely scary when it's involving your upper vertebra too. So
right.
Not an ideal way to start the week.
No, not good at all. And like I said, just so proud of you for going in and being a man about it. Right. So good job. Mm-hmm. But back to the side-by-side, and, not to just hit it while the iron's hot because of this situation, but, never really been a huge fan of the side-by-side racing. Obviously, I'm on the record on that. I do think the crowd loves it. I think it's awesome. What I don't think we have to do, I just don't think we need to be 4 wide on that hill. I mean, if we were 2 wide, I remember the race that I had there with Caleb Blaine when we were just the 2 of us. I could hear the freaking crowd because I got Caleb got me, I got him back, and then he got me at the end. Like, it was awesome racing, right? Mm-hmm. But never did I have to be a foot from him going freaking Mach 100. It's like when you're 4 wide, this is going to happen again. I can guarantee you that this will happen again going 4 wide on that hill,
Yeah. It's hard to know because Rob had called me and talked to me a little bit about this. And it's like, you don't want to just overreact because there was an incident, because it's always going to happen and there's always going to be a risk. But maybe there's certain hills that we can do 4 wide, and maybe there's certain hills that we shouldn't. And again, this kind of goes back to the hill prep. Like, if the hill had if you don't get to the right line by the time you are halfway up that second jump, you're not going to win.
Right.
So that means 4 people are trying to all get to a 3 foot wide line and hit one of these 6-inch wide grooves. And you have 2 to pick from that are going to keep you competitive. And realistically 1, because one's pointing you out of bounds and one's pointing you to the center of the hill.
Right.
So maybe something like that is where you need to just separate it, and lane choice is king, and you can't cross over or something, or I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things you can do, but it also sucks to overreact because of a circumstance like this. But you also want to not be oblivious to making stuff better and safer for everybody either. And maybe it's something where 3 wide goes, or you make starting blocks where you can't get that close or something. That was one of Rob's suggestions, which I also agree with.
I mean, but the same thing a couple of years back at White Rose, you were starting tangled handlebars. That's the whole shot. The handlebars were overlapped. That's stupid. Like, you just can't start like that. You can't have that. Like, you just can't be that tight. And I don't know, I just feel like you're exactly right. And that's why I said that hill. Like, I think at Double Staircase, it's just fine. But when you have one of the roughest hills that you've ever seen and the lines are already determined, I just feel like you have to, say, nope, we can't go 4 wide here. If it's 3 wide or 2 wide, whatever. But I'm just saying right now, this was, this is going to happen again. And, don't prove me wrong by trying to run everything 4 wide, because I don't want it to happen, but you're just increasing your odds, right? You're increasing it to happen. And it's not going to work there. I think we're done with the 4 wide there. It's got to be.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a good argument to adjust depending on the situation and the way that the hill is, for sure. There's sometimes it just doesn't make sense and it's not good. Or like even at Michigan, if the last time that I was there, that one jump had that super deep rut in it, whereas like literally whoever gets that rut first is going to win it, and nobody there's like almost no, because is so wildly different between the two. And once in a while you're going to get hills like that, and maybe we need to be a little bit more fluid with the verticross class and make adjustments accordingly. But also another good reason why verticross shouldn't be points too. But that's a whole nother discussion.
I'm with you there. I think it's for the crowd. That's the only thing it's for. I can't stand the point aspect of it when there's so much chance. And the thing I love about hill climbing is we're racing a clock. Yeah. And then I hate that somebody can have the decision to ruin my season. I freaking hate that. That's why I don't motocross. I mean, it's part of the reason. Like, I like just racing the clock. I don't want to have somebody just decide that they're going to take my space and I don't get to play anymore, whatever.
Yeah. I definitely think and agree that I like verticross more for crowd and purse money if you want to do that. But points is a little bit tricky with it and just tough. And, one tiny mistake can destroy an entire season worth of points or get you hurt or whatever. But again, that's a whole different discussion for a whole nother show.
Right. How are now I didn't get to see the nitro bikes. How are they? Were they able to lay down? Were they hopping all over, or how are they doing?
No, it was a rough day to be on a nitro bike. There was, I think, really only 3 good runs on nitro bikes. Just Jake had one at the end of the day. John had one second round, and then actually just 2, because I was I had what I would consider the 3rd good run, and I was just on my Buell, and I even took the nitrous off on my run just because I wasn't feeling quick enough to try to hang on to all that power, and just made an adjustment. So really, as far as open class goes, or premier class, that was kind of all there was, just those 3 runs, and everyone else was a little bit further off. So
does Corbin Davis pay taxes there for that Harley? Good God. He's had some freaking runs with that Harley there. Holy balls. That was impressive.
Yeah, that was crazy.
He just loves that Harley at that hill, doesn't he?
Yeah, the thing somehow just hooks up there and tracks straight and works for him. And I don't know if it's just flat enough on the bottom that he can get a drive and then all that torque just keeps lugging him up, or if he just has a secret and I don't know, maybe hits a mystical passageway halfway up and
I think so.
Finds the time warp.
On US Hill Climbing, watching that one jump, he was one bump away from never seeing the top. That back tire just went whap, whap like that. And I'm like, oh my God.
How he rolled out of that.
Oh, wow. I would have been ejecto seated out of there if that would have been me. I would have missed that second bump and the back tire would have passed me going by over the jump probably.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Impressive.
You got to respect it because it's pretty damn impressive.
It's
He's been pretty good there.
Super, super impressive. Did you find any good places to eat? We always had such good restaurants there at Freemansburg.
Yeah, actually, Bethlehem is so cool. And Allentown is too, but we've been spending more of the time in Bethlehem. And there's so many restaurants, and their downtown is super cool.
So cool.
We did some walking around at like the old steel plant, and then found some cool places downtown and had a pretty good pretty good meal.
Nice. Very
Yeah,
good.
it was awesome.
Cool. Well, good work. Did we miss anything? Oh, one other thing. Did they finally take Nitro Pilot's idea and have the box cars with graffiti for the trophies?
No luck yet.
Damn it! Oh, that would be so cool.
We'll
Nitro
hold hope
Pilot
for
had the best
fall.
idea ever. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that would be so sick.
That'd be so
Maybe
cool.
they can buy the train cars and have him do the artwork.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be sick.
Yeah.
That would be a legit trophy if you had like a little box car with graffiti.
Yeah.
First place. That'd be
Heck
sick.
yeah, that'd be so cool.
That'd be cool.
Especially if it's Colby's art, because you can't beat that.
That is the best art. That's for damn sure. Do we miss anything?
I think that pretty much covers it for the first 2 East rounds. I can't think of anything else major or crazy that happened.
From what I heard, I mean, no bike fatalities or anything yet so far. I mean, everybody.
No, the Billy Goat had a good one at Freemansburg. He was about ready to dump the clutch, and Crispy starts yelling, and there's oil pouring out of the bottom of his bike.
No.
But he was able to fix it and ride, so I don't even know what happened, if it was just like a drain plug popped out or what. But yeah, he filled the rut with some oil and then put her back together and
Crispy with the save. That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So,
good deal.
That was probably the only big one that I can think of.
Okay. And boy, thoughts and prayers out for Bodie. Heard that he had a bad get off on the twins. And I don't sound like maybe concussion or something, but I haven't heard if there was. But just hope he gets back and healthy and back riding. So I think that's it, huh? For Freemansburg?
That should be good.
All right, let's take a break here. Oh, I'm so excited. We're going to talk Big Sky. Oh, I'm pumped. Pumped to talk Big Sky after the break.
Something about thumb in to win.
Oh, God, yes. Thumb in to win. Boys, oh, man. I've never been so close to joining that club. I want to be able to say that. That's a good teaser. All right, we'll see you after this. Listen up. Best sponsor in the world.
Against the Grain Design and Print is proud to announce its partnership with Find the Line. Against the Grain works with clients to build their business and racing goals through the design and production of premium stickers and decals. We offer one-of-a-kind subscriptions for a flat monthly fee that can save you hundreds of dollars. Custom mailers, white label printing, motocross graphics, and anything else you can think of, we have you covered. It's time to print your passion. Visit atgdesign.co or email sales@atgdesign.co.
Hey there, Find the Line listeners. We will always be looking for partnerships for Find the Line. Please email findthelinepod@gmail.com to see how we can work together to grow your brand. Once again, that's findthelinepod@gmail.com. Now, let's get back to it.
Woo! Oh, man, this is so exciting because when do I get to be part of a main quest? Never. Never do I get to be part of a main quest. Tonight, I'm on a solo main quest. This is crazy. I can't. It just doesn't even feel right when Logan's not there racing with me. I don't even know how to respond.
No, it'll be interesting. I'm not used to this either.
Yeah, no.
Pretty rare.
Snuck out to the Big Sky Challenge Round 2 Rockwell Series out at the Billings Motorcycle Club. Really cool. People haven't been there. If you thought about hill climbing, if you've ever owned a hill climb bike, if you just like motorcycles, go to Billings, go to a BMC event. The Great American is the most famous event that they have, but the Big Sky Challenge, I believe, the funnest hills you could ever ride. Logan?
Yes. The BMC, or the Great American's the big one, but the Big Sky's the fun one.
The Big Sky is the fun one. And there's similar hills for, I think, is it the Nightmare? Is that club race that they have? They have like a really fun club race in the fall that's not part of Rockwell, that's on those hills, that has a great purse, and it's still super fun. And Spoon are actually thinking about maybe going. It'd be kind of fun. But for now, the Big Sky Challenge, it's kind of neat at the BMC. It's a huge club. They have, I think it's a couple thousand acres of land there in their club. They have motocross track. I don't know if they have a supercross track, but they probably have at some point. They got everything you could ever imagine, plus just thousands of acres to ride on. It's the most unbelievable club to be a part of. When we were out there this weekend, they had a flat track going on Friday night. I mean, it's so freaking cool. But how they do it is members promote events. So a couple members will get together and they'll promote, the Great American, or a couple members get together. On this one, it was Austin, Tyler, and Tyler Cardwell, Tycat, that promoted the Big Sky Challenge. And it's kind of their families. And Don Earhart's always a part of it with his family, Corey and his wife. And man, they are getting so good at the watering aspect of this. The dirt out there, it's like dust. It's bentonite dirt. When there's no water, it's not fun. It's just, there's no traction to it. It gets extremely hard. But they have just the world's best watering system. And I've been out there a few times where they've overwatered it, and the first run is a complete throwaway. And if you're in the top 30 bikes, you got zero chance. And I've been out there where they've underwatered it, and it's kind of the same thing where you had to be at the end of the first round, to have a really good chance. But this weekend when I was out there, they freaking nailed it. And from Aaron Pearson drew number 1 on the 0 to 600 Pro Altered class for the first ride on Saturday morning. And if he wouldn't have jumped the lights, I think he would have won.
Nice. That's
awesome.
awesome.
And I'm pretty sure he didn't jump the lights, because I noticed that they didn't test the timers before that class, but they did test the timers on the other. So let's just say that it wasn't him, but he said he sent it. Aaron's like, oh, I sent it over the top. And you can see it. he went for it.
Nice.
Unbelievable event. All in all, from the very, very first ride of Aaron Pearson to have such a great ride right off the bat and not have to go through a swamp. Logan, remember when your dad drew like 3 in the open Pro Altered class and just buried the Harley way back when?
Yeah. I've been to a few different events out there and the Big Sky stuff where you just sink a bike in the mud.
It's awful. But they nailed it. And all the way to the championship runoff comes down to the third to the last ride. And Carson Lloyd makes Jake Anstedt come back and ride twice for the first time all weekend and takes the $2,000 and the championship runoff win. It was just a cool weekend. Yeah. For people that haven't rode out there, in hill climbing, it's so confusing because we have 3 main series to our professional, what would you say? Skill set, or I don't know. I'm not smart enough to have the correct word, but there's 3 basic series. There is American Hillclimb, and American Hillclimb has American Hillclimb West, American Hillclimb East, which are similar.
They're basically 2 different series within each other. We don't have to sugarcoat it. You're not going to say it, but I will.
Okay, they're similar. Then there's the Motoclimb Super Series, which they have different classes than American Hillclimb East and West, and run on different hills, and they have different payout structures. And then they have the Rockwell Pro Hillclimb Series, which again is a different series that has different venues and different classes and different payout structures. And they all have their advantages. And what's kind of cool is there's something there for everybody. We've talked before, Motoclimb Super Series has a stock length pro stock class that is a main event. It's a main. It's meant for hard enduro guys, moto guys, whatever. They don't have to buy extensions and get to dip their toes into hill climbing. The Rockwell, they're there for hill climbing. That once the nuclear strike happens, we're going to have cockroaches and hill climbs at the BMC. They're not going anywhere. Like that place, they don't care if they have spectators. They don't care anything. They're going to have a good purse. They're going to have, it's unbelievable. You go there. If you're a Rockwell member, you don't pay a gate fee. You don't have to pay to camp. Free. And it's both all gravel parking. It's super professional pits on all their venues. They really, really, really look out for the rider. They have a great pay structure. Their classes at Rockwell, the main ones, they have kids classes, and I'm not an expert on those, but they have like a 0 to 70 pro. They have I think it's a 71 to, they have like 3 pro kids classes. They have a women's pro class. And then they have the 4 main classes are the 0 to 600. No, it's 251 to 600 pro altered.
Yep.
I think
so.
it cannot be, actually, it might be a 301 because I don't think you can ride 300s in it anymore either. But you cannot ride a 450 base motorcycle in it. It has to be, basically what they're looking for is old 500s, Gixxer 600s, or like a really, it has to be a pre-13 or something. You could have like a KTM 550 or something like that in it, 4-stroke.
Yeah.
But you can't be over 66 inches axle to axle, and you can't run a paddle. So it's a really cool class. I mean, Logan, how many fun rides have you had in that class?
Oh yeah, it was one of my favorites. It's always great.
I mean, you currently still have a box of parts looking to build a bike for that class, don't you?
Yeah. I need to do it at some point.
Yeah, well, you might have a few weeks here to do something.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. But that class is super fun. And then they have the 450 class, which it's any 450. It has to be standard bore and stroke. You can't have any nitrous. You can run paddles. You can run any length. You can run a tire. But it's 450 class, basically. Then they have the 700 class, which is, you can also ride it's a kind of confusing. This is what it's confusing because you can still ride a 450 in the 700 class, and a lot of people do. But you can have fun fuel, you can have paddles, you can have any length, and it's up to 700cc machine. They have the open class, which is 701 and up, any fuel, any motor, any paddle, rubber, but on all Rockwell classes, no steel. You can't run chains. You can't run bolted paddles. You can't run any metal in your rear wheel. It's always been that way. They have their rules for it, and that's fine. That's their rules. I'm just fine with it. And then they also have the last one is the best class in racing, and that's the 40 plus Pro Masters, and that's 700 class rules in that. So it's pretty fun. On Saturday they ran the 0 to 600 first. Then they moved the hill. And they ran the 450 class, and then they moved the hill again, and they ran the Pro Masters class. The 450 class was a hill like I'd never ridden before. It had a spine in it. I had never went up and down a spine. It was so freaking cool and so hard to do fast. But you came out. You had to do kind of a right hand turn and then left up. Pretty decent wall. The top of the wall was this spine rib that came down the hill, and we went up over it, and you actually went down and then went back up to the hill. It was a pretty damn fun class. And once again, it was just watered perfect. The hill, It was so damn fun. I can't remember, and maybe it's just my setup, but dude, I ran that MX-14 all weekend. That tire is so incredible. Man, it was good. I tried the M5B on the open bike on Sunday, and it didn't like it, and I ended up just putting a paddle on just because of the circumstances. But I think I could have put that 14 on and had the same success, but whatever. But really fun. There was about 87, I think it was like 76 or 80 450s, so pretty good sized class. Rockwell they will get over 100 450s. I don't know if it has been that way. It's been a few years since I've been there, but I mean, would you say around 80 is pretty typical, Logan?
Yeah. I think nowadays that's pretty much what they are most of the time, is right around that number. Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. So, how they do it there, having the 70, whatever it was, bikes, that's your purse. So it's $100 a class. So if you have 76 bikes in there, there's a $7,600 purse for the 450 class. And what they do is however many bikes, they pay down that far. So in that class, I think they paid down to, God, it was like 15th or something.
Yeah, I think it was 15 or 18.
15 or 18. That's freaking sick. That's so nice. Like if there's almost 80 guys in there and you got 15th place, you fucking hucked one. I mean, you earned a check. And I've been the recipient of the last check several times. You get your entry back. It's awesome. That's 100 bones. That's sick.
Yeah, they do good work with that. It's really cool. And Don has even said it before. Like they're kind of in there to help keep the quote unquote little guys or the beginners in it and give them some encouragement to keep going. And it's like, when you're finishing like that and you get your money back, sometimes that's what you need to go and do the next one and keep getting into it. So it's super cool.
Absolutely. And I mean, you're in a different position because you're a podium guy. But for people that, the podiums, I'm not gonna freaking podium in that class. But having the chance to you might get a check if you have a good ride. It's super fun. I mean, it's just really fun that there's a chance to get a payout. And if you do get into the top 5 when I have done it, it's good money. Like you're if you get in the top 5, it's probably gonna pay for all your entries and then some, so it's pretty sick.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. That's encouraging.
The Sunday then, then Sunday, and we were done. I had the frickin' pellet grill fired up at 3:00 on Saturday.
Nice.
It was amazing. It was so awesome. We had all day just to bounce around. Shout out to the Pearson and the Wyatt family. I got to camp with them. It was so damn fun hanging out. And this camper experience is so cool. They got this little ritual where they go up like at dusk and they walk the hill because they flag the first hill for the next day. Every night we went up and walked the hill the night before, and you get to sit there all night and think about that hill. That's so damn fun, just being there and being able to have that in your mind and think about it. And I told those guys, like, man, it was really nice just to kind of have somebody to talk about the hill with and what your thoughts were. And, God, paddle, not paddle, what are we doing? This or that. It was just really fun. They're some heroes of mine, and it was fun to get to know them. So it was pretty cool. But then Sunday, right away, we were out like 9:00 in the morning, I think it was, first bike on the hill. And they went 700 class on Sunday. And then from 700, they went right into open. And then after open, they figured out, and I freaking love this at Rockwell. It's what I kind of grew up doing, knowing, seeing. Midwest, we always had the king of the hill. And if you go to a race in the Midwest and you make the king of the hill, you did something right. Like you made that king of the hill because you were one of the 10 fastest SOBs of the day, right? Well, at Rockwell events, they have the championship runoff. And what they do is they take the top 5 fastest 450s, the top 5 fastest 700s, and the top 5 fastest open. And then, like Jake dominated. So he qualified in every class. He get to pick what bike. So he picked his open, so they go to the 6th in the 450 and the 6th in the 700, and they get 15 guys. So that was after the open class, and then they give them 2 runs. And they gave them 2 runs because they did no side-by-side whatsoever this weekend. It was only the championship runoff, and it was a really tough hill. I was so close to getting it in the 450 because so many people opted out, but I just didn't quite get it. Yeah. But I was actually kind of glad because I think everybody made it over, and I probably wouldn't have. It was really tricky. There was like a really hard left-hander going up this hill, straight back to a right at the top of the hill, and it was so hard to execute correctly. It was chewing some people up. It was pretty neat. Nice. But $2,000 to win the championship runoff there. They had, and that was all sponsored money that got brought in. And man, it was really good racing. If you go on my Insta page, I went live and it archived it, so you can go back and watch it. There was some really good riding, and even then, there was starting to get some dust on the hill, but they still had tons of traction. You could see them pulling and lifting and doing whatever they wanted to do, and that was after a whole weekend of sun and wind and everything else. It was pretty epic.
Yep, sweet. Can't beat that.
Can't beat it. And boy, I just gotta tell you, like, it reinvigorated me, like after, this is super self-serving or whatever, but like after Carnegie, I was just like, man, I just don't deserve to be at these events. I just didn't feel like I could ride. I felt way overwhelmed. Like it was just like totally messed up my head. And I was just like, I got to start exiting this shit. Cause I was kind of embarrassed as to how I rode. And then newsflash, go to the Big Sky. And I just realized, like, I hadn't been there for so long to Billings. It'd been years. I've been out east racing. There's always a event out east over the Big Sky. And, what I love about our sport is there's something for everybody. And what didn't I do at the Big Sky? I didn't jump off a ramp. I didn't even jump a jump. I didn't jump a tabletop. I didn't have to do a flat track corner. I didn't have to, you know what I had to do? I had to frickin' huck huge vertical walls and do technical lines. I was in frickin' heaven.
You had to climb hills, and you liked it.
And I loved it. And I was so pumped. I got to be with some of my favorite people. And man, I just had an absolute blast. It was so fun. And I just wanted to tell that to people because like every now and then we get in a funk, right? Like you're trying to do something just because you're trying to do everything or whatnot. And I forgot, like, God dang it. Like I freaking love that place. And it's like, you got to go every now and then just to remind yourself, like, this is what I love to do. I'm trying to do all these things, but this is what I love. And I didn't win. I didn't top 5. Hell, I didn't even make the championship runoff. I was smiling ear to ear. I could have drove home all the way, just pumped. My freaking dirt bikes worked. I hucked a couple good rides. I got to watch Aaron Pearson ride a nitro bike at the Big Sky. I mean, it was just awesome. It was so freaking fun just to kind of get that love again for what we do. And we've done so much of it, but I just forgot how much I loved that damn place. It's so fun. So if you're down, if you're feeling like I was, you got the Carnegie Blues because everybody just fucking mopped you up and spit you out. Go to BMC. I'd say that's your slump buster right there.
Yeah, you can't beat it. The Big Sky is just such an epic event, and it always has been. Yeah,
and we've talked about so much, but they just do so many things for riders.
They do.
At that club now. Have you been there since they built all the storage units?
Some of them, yeah.
There's like a shitload of storage units, like at the bottom down there, and then the members rent them, and then they just leave their stuff there. So it's like they got like couches and shit in their storage units. You can just go out,
super cool.
Get all your stuff there, and then they got spots for campers and all this stuff. I mean, they know what they're doing. I mean, dang it! Like if you live in Billings, you got to go there and get signed up. I mean, hell, Ryan Wyatt lives in Calgary and he's a member there. I mean, it's pretty freaking cool.
For sure.
I guess I got no excuse.
I know. I've once Ryan was telling me about it. I'm like, man, it's tempting to try to become a member out there and just, I mean, even if you could spend 2 long weekends a year or something, make it worth it. It would be well worth the drive to be able to partake in some of what they got going on. It's super cool.
And I felt like a Supercross pro because what did I do Friday? I went golfing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jordan Schmidt and Tristan Alexander. Tristan lined it all up. We went to Yagan's right there in Billings and went golfing. Oh, so damn fun. I just felt like I was just Phil Nicoletti or something out there just hobnobbing with the locals. It was epic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. That Billings is a cool little town, man. It's pretty cool.
Yep.
But no, I just, man, great time. Can't say enough good things about the whole Big Sky. I just can't wait to go back and can't wait to have that feeling again. It's good times.
Did you go to Stella's?
No, I was camping. So that was the thing. It was weird. Like we went, that was a tough one. Yeah. No Stella's and no Sassy Biscuit. That was the only thing that I didn't have was a real good cup of coffee because my coffee choices in the camper were shit. I didn't bring good coffee. And that was what kind of killed me.
Lame.
Yeah, it was bad. It was worth it though.
Yep.
Yeah.
You did good other than that.
Yeah, I did good.
It sounds like
I spent like $0. It was so awesome. Like I got there, we went golfing, whatever golf was, $50 or whatnot. And then I went back to the club and I never left and I never bought anything. I felt bad. I was a terrible guest because I brought all my food. One time I was like, I'll just go get an apple. I had an apple and, Cody McLean's dad was giving me hell. He's like, oh, what do you get an apple every time you make it over? I'm like, well, I hope I got enough apples, what they said. No, it was super fun. Just a cool experience.
Heck yeah. It's always fun.
Yeah. And then update, once again, from dragging off of 895's coattails, I get another cool experience. No, I'm not going to France riding because he's injured. No, I don't get to do anything else, but I do get to get on the Brap Life podcast in a few weeks. Thanks, Logan. You were on there with Angel. And man, go give it a listen. It's BRRAAP Life on the podcast. And dude, like, I thought you were such a great steward to our sport, Logan. You spoke so well, and it was a really good episode with you and Angel.
Yeah, it was fun to be on there and hopefully get a few more eyeballs or ears listening to our sport. And it was fun to talk about some of my hard enduro experiences and get a good laugh at how that's all gone. I've had some crazy times doing that stuff. So it's fun to talk about them and reminisce a little bit for sure.
Oh, very cool. I'm going to predict that 10 minutes in, she's already really regretting having me on because I'm going to give her both barrels of energy. It's going to be a lot to take.
Yep. Might have to bust it into 2 episodes.
We'll see. Well, we'll have to see what's next year then, bud. I hope you get healed up. Hope we got more side quest, main quest stuff coming up in the future.
Yeah, unfortunately, the long-term side and main quest will just be trying to get healed and come up with some sort of plan on what's going to happen next. We don't know yet. And
yeah.
The worst part about the injury is just waiting around to get better. So hopefully it goes quick and is free of any big hurdles. But before we cut it out, we got to talk about Thumb It In to Win.
I almost forgot. Damn it. Thank you for reminding me. That was one of the coolest things of the whole weekend. Okay, so, or maybe you didn't know, but Keegan Dales runs a thumb throttle, okay? And Otis Cook runs a thumb throttle, Goon Climbers. And I heard that Byron Cowan does too, but I didn't see that or whatever. But they were riding, and Otis and Keegan were rocking all weekend. They're so fast. They just ride so freaking good, But at the awards, they had the Goon Climbers crowd, and I want to be a part of those guys. They know how to party, but they were getting after it. And when they were announcing their names, they were yelling "Thumb In to Win." It's like, I want to say "Thumb In to Win." Like, damn it, do I put a thumb throttle on one of my bikes so I can say "Thumb In to Win"?
You just yell that out if you're married. You have to get permission first. But.
Yeah, probably a real good idea to clarify. Yes, but oh god, they had me cracking up. That was so good.
So funny.
Yeah,
it would not take much to convince me to go full thumb throttle, though.
They make it work, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
No, I can see it.
Yeah,
like I said, I'd be interested to try it.
Yeah, remember when we were riding down in Illinois and Chad Wienen had his and he was just always always all over that throttle. Yeah, well, it'd be pretty cool. Well, maybe that's next, huh?
Maybe.
Yeah, you can have. That's next hard enduro. Put a thumb throttle on there. Tell them I smashed so many throttle tubes. I'm just gonna go thumb throttle.
It actually is not a bad idea either, to be honest. I've wrecked plenty of throttle tubes.
Right. God dang it! I forgot to look and see. I saw it after we left too, but I think it was God dang it. Devin had a vice grips zip tied on for his clutch lever.
Oh yeah, I saw that on somebody's story.
How was that? I remember Instagram. I was like, God, I wish I wouldn't have found that person. That was pretty impressive. It was like a conglomeration of a vice grips and a whole shitload of zip ties.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was impressed.
That's like a red green. This is only temporary unless it works, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Well, good times. Main quest, a three banger recap.
Yep.
We all good?
Think so.
Luke, you coming with next time? BMC, me and you?
Sounds good. I'll be there.
Camping? Open bikes? All right. It's a plan.
Yeah,
Hold you to it.
Come on, mama told me one day I'ma grow up big and I'ma be a king. And my papa told me it's okay to sit where shit hurts. Don't forget your dreams, cause they'll get you through.